Hey Guru Nation, welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. So this is going to be a 5-minute video to accompany my 20-minute podcast where I really go in depth on this topic. But it's what tactical ways can you as a research clinic go out and prospect physicians, either to join you as sub-investigators, to join you as principal investigators, or just to refer patients to you for your studies. How to prospect doctors. So this video is not going to be about what to tell them. I've done videos before. This is not going to be the benefits of doing research for physicians. I've done that before too. Just search YouTube for it. You'll find those videos. This is going to be how to go find these doctors so that you have an opportunity to present your study to them, your company to them, the idea of clinical research to them. So this is important for many reasons, okay? Yesterday I did a podcast on this topic where your first PI is most likely to leave you. If you're a research clinic, you don't want to ever be too dependent on one PI. Okay, they can retire, they could not want to do research anymore, they could lose their license somehow, they can get hit by a bus. I mean, anything can happen. You don't want to get too dependent on one PI. Plus, that's going to limit you from getting other types of studies, a wider variety of studies, because most likely your PI, your current PI, specializes in just a handful of conditions. So if you ever get approached by a sponsor or a CRO for a different type of study, it might be a very lucrative study, but you may have to turn it down because you know your current PI can enroll patients for it. So this is why you need to always be prospecting, always. Constantly be looking for new PIs. And they don't have to be PIs, by the way, but new physicians to join your practice. The best way to get them started is as sub-investigators. Or if they don't want that, like let's say most physicians would love the idea of just having their name involved with a study so that they can add some protocols to their CV so that they can ultimately become the PIs themselves. But maybe you'll run into some that don't want anything to do with the study, but they don't mind referring you patients. And so you get them to refer you patients, okay? And you don't need to put them as a sub-I. It's the best way I've seen is the old-fashioned way. It's just door knocking. Going to and start with the existing colleagues of your current PI. The existing colleagues of your current PI are the lowest hanging fruit because it's not a cold pitch. Your PI is the PI. Okay, so obviously he or she has a good relationship with you. He or she understands what clinical research entails. So they can introduce you, or they can tell you where their colleagues are located. Then you go talk to them and say, hey, I'm from Dr. Such and Such's office. We do clinical research. Would love to have you join either as a sub-investigator, as a referring physician, as a principal investigator if you would like. Dr. So-and-so told me that you're a really good doctor and that I should talk to you about this. Okay, that's the best way. Then, let's say your existing PI has 5 colleagues. You literally go door knock at every single one. Show up with a box of donuts. Show up with sandwiches for the staff. Show up with something. There's going to be a gatekeeper there. Usually it's a receptionist. Bring them something. And then get a 5 to 10 minute meeting with the doctor. And if it's an existing colleague of your PI, they're going to be more welcoming of you to enter their office. You may not even need to bring sandwiches. Now, let's say you go door knock these 5 colleagues of your existing PI. Let's just say one of them is interested in research. So one is interested, then you get this person to work at your clinic as a sub-I, as a PI, or as a referring physician. Great. The other 4 that are not interested, that's fine too. Now ask them to refer you to 3 of their colleagues each. Say, hey doctor, I really appreciate your time. I understand that at this point in time you're not interested in doing research, but would you happen to know 3 colleagues of yours that might be? And I can go have this same conversation with them. So ask for 3, bring a piece of paper with you, and have them write it down on that piece of paper for you. So then now you can go pitch those people, right? And it's less of a cold pitch. So the whole point of this is you're trying to reduce friction. You're trying to not always be cold pitching someone. Now, let's say you have no choice. You get a really good, lucrative study proposal, but you know your PI doesn't have patients for it, and you need to go hunting for a specialist. I mean, this is literally what my CRO, this is the hypothesis that my CRO is built upon. We go out and find the doctors with the patients and train them on how to do research. In your case, you're not going that complex. You're just going to identify those doctors and ask them to be involved with your research company in some way, shape, or form, either as the PI, preferably, or as a sub-I, or as a referring physician. So in those cases, in addition to door knocking, I would really avoid calling, because you're always going to get a gatekeeper, and it's much easier for a gatekeeper to tell you no over the phone than no in person. So I would avoid cold calling at all. What I would do in addition to door knocking is identify the physicians in your area that you want to target and send them direct mail. But don't put them like on a mass mailing list. Handwrite a letter. I've seen a lot of research clinics in my area do this. They're trying to get my PIs to join their group, and they send handwritten letters, and that actually works really well. Same thing with the envelope. You don't want to make it look like one of those advertising envelopes that just gets thrown away. Handwritten to and from works beautifully in those cases. So door knocking, avoid the calling, avoid email. I mean, LinkedIn might be okay. Now we can get into the online stuff. So Craigslist is great because it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's like $25 to $50 per post. Now, Craigslist is great if you don't care what kind of doctor you're getting. So if you're looking for a very particular specialty, Craigslist may not be the best place. But if you really don't care and you just want like family practice, just like casting a wide net, Craigslist is great for that. If you want to get more specific, I would recommend either a Google ad or Facebook ad, and then you can get into the conversation about what kind of a creative do you put in those ads. For a Google ad, it's pretty simple. You send them to a landing page. Hopefully your website has a page on it for potential physicians who want to learn more about research. I have a flyer that we give to all prospective PIs about what it is that clinical research is, why it's beneficial to them. I have a couple of videos that I've made that they can watch. So Google usually has a link to a landing page. Facebook also has a link to a landing page. But the reason why I like Facebook, you can target just physicians. On Google, you can target keywords, but you're not necessarily targeting just physicians. You're targeting everyone who's interested in those keywords. On Facebook, you can target only physicians. There's so many different levels of targeting on Facebook that, I mean, it is just insane. So Facebook ads is good. You can experiment with LinkedIn ads. I've only tried it a few times. Wasn't that happy with it, but there's a lot of doctors on LinkedIn as well. So those are the ways to go prospect for more physicians. Always be adding them. When you think you don't need more physicians to join your network, that's when you need to go out and get more. Just always constantly be looking for more physicians. Expect that some of them will join and then leave. Others will join and not want to do research. Others will join and like it so much that they want to start their own clinic. So you're always going to need more. And you're always going to get different kind of studies where you need different kind of specialists. Even if they don't become PIs or sub-Is for you, you're still going to need referring physicians to refer patients to you for some of the more complicated studies. So hopefully this helps. This is how to prospect doctors. And go to iTunes or Stitcher, and you're going to see an episode where I go more in depth on this. Not only how to get them, but what to tell them when you see them. And I've done videos on those in the past as well. Thank you very much, Guru Nation, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.